Good morning, everybody. This is Grant Kaplan speaking, your favorite attorney. We are the immigration guys in the United States. Our office is located in Boca Raton in Florida. We have 3 attorneys, 10 paralegals. We busy ourselves 24 hours a day with visas, green cards, and all manner of immigration-related matters. We have clients throughout the United States and throughout the world. Today we're going to be talking about business-related visas. Do you have a business? Can you invest in the United States? Are you a person who's an extraordinary individual? We are very much interactive, so what I'd like to see is on our screen, which I'm going to check in a moment, any comments, likes, loves, thumbs up, no middle fingers please, those are a little bit old. Anything that you have that's positive for us. If you have any questions, certainly put them up. We'll be able to have a look at those and be able to answer those in real time for you. And if you're looking at this video after the live broadcast, do not be concerned. Certainly you're able to email us, you're able to put your comments up on the US visas and green cards page, and certainly we'll be able to answer those as well. We are available 24 hours for emergencies, and we are able to get to the immigration courts, to immigration jails as we need to. But today we're not going to be talking about that. As I've indicated, we're going to be talking about business-related visas. Our contact information for you guys, our country code, if you're dialing from outside the United States, is +1, area code 561-347-8440, and email info@usvisasandgreencards.com. That is info@usvisasandgreencards.com. I'm going to look on our page over here and see who's writing in and who's having a look to see what's going on, and we'll be able to see how we're getting on with any questions and so on from there. Let's just click on here and see how we're doing. Good, we have people coming in. We've got a couple of likes already, and let's see how we go from there. So let's get straight into it, guys. We're going to be looking at a number of business-related visas, and we're going through the alphabet soup. We're going to be going through quite quickly. Some of these may be applicable to you, some may not, but certainly we're going to go through those. Then I'm also going to be talking about consular processing. Nowadays, everyone outside the country has to have an interview at the US consulate in their country. And we're also going to be talking briefly about changes of status. For those of you who are in the United States, in whichever status you may be, it certainly is possible to change your status from one status to another whilst you're in the United States. Again, at any time you're welcome to call us, +1 561-347-8440. And our email address info@usvisasandgreencards.com. All right, so let's get straight into it. We're talking firstly about the L1 visa, which is an intra-company transfer visa. These visas are extremely popular, and we do 1 to 2 of these visas every week from our office. Our paralegals are highly trained to deal with all manner of business-related visas. And of course, we'll sit and we work through on a very, very detailed basis with everyone. We have templates for everything. We do not leave you out there swinging in the wind. We certainly will be able to help you and get you sorted out with all these visas. So let's get on to the L1 visa. The L1 visa is an intra-company transfer visa, which means that you need to have a business overseas, in other words, outside the United States, which is at least 2 years old, which needs to be a viable business. It doesn't need to be General Electric. It can be a small, medium-sized business as long as it's a viable business. And we can utilize that business to set up a branch or subsidiary of that entity in the United States and have you transferred across as a representative of the foreign entity into the United States. That presupposes a couple of things, of course. Firstly, the business needs to be at least 2 years old. It needs to be viable. It needs to have a number of employees. It needs to have a business premise, and it needs to be of a sufficient size to enable it to set up a branch or subsidiary in the United States. And you can come across, set up a branch subsidiary of that in the United States, and then come in and operate that business. That again presupposes that the South African or other foreign entity that you're bringing into the United States needs to have at least 51% of the US entity. You can set up in any state that you wish. You do not need to be in the same business that you're in your country of origin. So let's say if you come from India and you have an engineering business in India, doesn't mean you need to come into the United States and set up an engineering business. You can set up any business you like, or for that matter, buy a business. And as long as that business requires your management expertise and your entrepreneurial skills, you can certainly buy that business or set up that business and incorporate that into your US entity. There is no minimum capital requirement, but you do need to show that you have sufficient resources to set up and operate your business and to draw a salary and all the other requirements which we will have for you. You will also need to show at the time of filing that you have a corporation in the United States, ideally with a corporate bank account and some money in the bank account, of course. You need to have a temporary office, at least in the United States, and you need to be able to show that you're ready to commence operating. You can, in the meantime, employ people if you wish to, but you yourself cannot work in the United States until the L1 visa has been approved. If you're married, of course, your spouse will be eligible to get work authorization as well, and kids under 21, of course, can come with you. They are all derivatives of you. Typically, for new L1 applications, you would be given 1 year to set up and operate your business, and from there, once you have done what you said you were going to be doing, you would be given extensions of 2 years at a time. Once your business is properly established in the United States and it appears to be viable and no longer reliant on the foreign company's funding and appears to be permanent in nature, we can certainly file for a green card for you guys, and that will typically take about 12 months under current processing times. So for all of those guys who have a business or have been working in a senior capacity in a business and they wish to set up a branch or subsidiary in the United States, this could be the ideal opportunity. The immigration service in this category, as in most other categories, is becoming more and more sticky and pedantic in terms of the requirements, and typically our applications would be about 800 pages, could be in excess of 1,000 pages. But we are highly geared over here to deal with these applications, and we'll certainly be able to help you to do that. As I've indicated earlier, we have templates for everything. We can assist to set up the corporation. We can have guys do the business plans and everything else that is required for you. So again, if you are one of these people or know anyone else who may be able to benefit from this, please call us. Again, our telephone number +1 561 347 8440, and our email address info@usvisasandgreencards.com. Let's see how we're getting on over here. Someone is asking about the visa lottery. The visa lottery is still in existence, so yes, at the appropriate time you can certainly enter that. We're not really talking about that today, but yes, that is possible to do. Couple of smileys and thumbs up and so on from Lillian from Pew, from Moha, from Prince, and various others. Nice to see you guys. From Chris and a number of others. Welcome you guys. Nice to see you here, and hopefully you'll send us on your comments and we can talk and chat as we go. Hello to Gabby, who's sending in, I'm not sure exactly what those are, hearts with toothless smileys. We'll take anything as long as it's positive. Thank you. Alright, so now we're going to go on and we're going to talk about some of the other visas. The next visa in the alphabetical soup is what is known as an E2 visa, which is an investor visa. And if you're from certain countries with whom the United States has a trade agreement, which are mostly European countries, or should I say most European countries other than Portugal, and a lot of countries around the world, including Australia and New Zealand, some countries in South America like Argentina, Colombia, and various others, and even one or two in Africa like the Congo, and others in Southeast Asia like Pakistan and various other countries. Those citizens can come into the United States and invest at least $100,000 by investing in a business, at least 50% of a business, or setting up a business in the United States. That gives you the opportunity to come in, set up, operate, buy into that business, and typically the Immigration Service will allow you to continue to operate that business in the United States and renew that visa, typically on a 5-year basis, forever, as long as that business continues to operate. Great visa to have. Your spouse also will be able to obtain work authorization if they wish to, and of course kids also can come into the United States. One of the downsides to the e-visa is that it on its own does not lead directly to a green card, but there are certain other ways to obtain that, and anyone who's interested in that can certainly contact us as well. As I've indicated earlier, our telephone number +1 561 347 8440, and email address info@usvisasandgreencards.com. So anyone who's interested in that, certainly we're able to have a look and see how we go from there. All right, good. The likes are continuing to come in, so that's a good thing. Let's press on to the EB5 Investor Visa. The EB5 program is an investor program whereby investors can invest in the United States either actively or passively. and most guys invest passively in the United States. That means that they put up $500,000 plus administrative fees and so on with what is known as a regional center to come in and invest in that regional center to obtain a green card. So a family would come in and invest $500,000, and upon approval, that would make that family, being husband, wife, kids under 21, eligible to apply for and obtain conditional permanent residence. Typically, most regional centers would require you to leave your money with them for at least 5 years, and some of them pay dividends and some do not. There's about 600 regional centers. We work closely with a number of them, and of course we'll be very happy to assist anyone who is in that position. By the way, a regional center is nothing other than an entity, a company or an entity that has got permission from the Immigration Service to come in and take investors to come and invest in their particular projects. That $500,000 investment is probably going to go up to close to $1 million in September of this year. So any guys who are interested in getting involved in that, I urge you to contact us as soon as possible so we can put that process in action as well. On the other aspect in regard to EB5 programs, there are active EB5 programs where you could invest in your own business in the United States, either $500,000 or $1 million, depending upon where the business is located. And you would need to show, in addition to the investment, that you're able to employ 10 full-time employees over a period of the following 2 years. And again, we can guide you through that and show you exactly how we would process all of that with you. So those are the main business-related visas that are available. There are other visas that are available as employees. If you're a Canadian or a Mexican citizen, there is a possibility of what is known as a TN visa, which would allow you to come in and work in the United States in certain specified occupations as professional people, and those typically are given initially for 2 years and extend also on 2 to 3 yearly bases. If you are what is considered to be a person of extraordinary ability in your field, whether it's sports, science, academics, or anything else of that kind, there is a visa known as an O visa which may be available to you. We do a number of these for golfers, for business people. We've even got O visas for hairdressers, believe it or not, for chefs, for musicians, and for various others. So if you think that you're extraordinary, I know we all think we're extraordinary, but immigration needs to agree with us. Certainly we may be able to help you. Most O visas would require also an offer of employment from the United States, and we can certainly discuss that with you. H1 visas are for professional employees. You need to have at least the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. You need to have an offer of employment from an employer in the United States, and those visas typically would become available as of April 1 of next year. There are various trainee visas, H3 visas, J1 visas. These are all trainee visas where you would be expected to train and work in the United States, and all of these require an employer. So those generally are the alphabet soup of visas that we would like to consider. I see Mr. Rene is giving us googly eyes over here. Hello, Rene. And various others are giving thumbs up and hi. So let's talk now briefly about consular processing. As I indicated earlier, every applicant for a visa outside the United States needs to go and have an interview nowadays at the US consulate in their country of which they are resident or a citizen of. Occasionally it is possible to go process visas at third country visa operations at consulates. For example, in the Caribbean, close to us, in Trinidad, I believe they allow certain third country processing. Canada may allow it, Mexico may allow. Any guys who are interested in consular processing or extending their visas can, instead of going to their home countries, possibly go to one of these US consulates in those countries. So that is consular processing. Of course, anyone who goes for an interview needs to be properly prepared, have all of your documentation, and have everything else that the officer will be looking for. Typically, these appointments are done through glass, and the interviews are not very long, probably a few minutes. So, and are unlikely to be very happy and warm and fuzzy interviews, but you need to give the officer what you need to do. If you have any kind of overstay issues, if you have any kind of criminal convictions, if you have anything of that kind, you may need to get a waiver, and we can certainly help you with that as well. Again, our contact number +1 561 347 8440, and email address info@US Visas and Green Cards. And lastly, if you're in the United States in a visa category, let's say you're here as a tourist, and you then decide you'd like to become a student, for example, it is possible to change your status from one to the other if you're eligible for it, firstly, and if you are doing this during the period that your current visa is eligible for, you can certainly change, and we can help you to change your status to any other category for which you may be eligible. And we'll be very happy to help you to do that. And we can see the story over there. We've got a question from Mr. Rawan. He says, how long does it take for a US citizen to petition for a sibling under 21? Well, as a sibling, unfortunately, those are the least preferent category available, and whether the sibling is under 21 or not, those take in excess of 10 years nowadays, unfortunately. And for anyone who's interested in looking at these visa bulletins, which tell you exactly where they're up to in terms of their processing, you can simply Google visa bulletin and it will give you the latest visa bulletin of May 2018, or you can go to the government website uscis.gov and type in visa bulletin, and that will guide you to the correct place, and that will show you how they categorize each of these visa categories and where everything is at that point. So I think that will do it for today, guys. It's been very nice chatting to you, and should you require anything, we are available. We're friendly people. We're very happy to help you. Very easygoing. We get the job done. We'll be delighted to help you guys. Thanks very much, and nice to speak to you. We shall chat to you soon. Thank you.